Thank you all. I want to begin by asking you, how many of you have ever been asked this question before? Raise your hand. And keep those hands raised if this question has ever given you any type of stress or anxiety. Yeah, that's a lot of people. And we're almost all grown adults, right? And so when I think about it, it's crazy that we ask 17-year-olds this question, and we ask them to make very important life decisions based on the answers. And yet this is what we do every single year across the US in our high schools. And I know this because I used to be a high school counselor, and I worked at one of the lowest income areas in Houston. Most of my students were on free reduced price lunch. They'd be the first in their family to go to college. And the reality is a lot of them didn't get into four-year schools. And so when I would ask them this question, they'd look at me like you just did, with that kind of like, ooh, I don't know, I'm a little bit anxious face. What I'm here to tell you is that those faces reflect a really, really big underlying problem. And that's because for students that I worked with, like Perla, they've been told for years that to go to college would mean that they would realize success. And so when Perla didn't get into any of her four-year schools, she didn't know what to do. And so she enrolled into her community college thinking that she would transfer. And yet a month later, she told me that she was going to drop out because she didn't really see how that equation fit. Or I think about students like Luis, who was really clear with me and said, I don't know what I want to do after high school. I just need some time. And it's been 2 years since Luis graduated from high school, and he's still working at Taco Bell down the street of our high school. The sad reality is that for students like Perla and Luis, there are opportunities. All around the US, we're experiencing this middle skill job gap. There's so many jobs for community college graduates, and employers are dying for talent from local communities. And yet the students I worked with didn't know that these existed. So there's a divide here, and this is what BridgeYear tries to solve. BridgeYear connects students to community college by exposing them to high-growth careers in well-paid professions. We do this through a 12-month program. So starting in spring semester of their senior year, this is when a lot of students don't know what they want to do, and they're getting those rejection letters from four-year colleges. We condense the best aspects of an internship into a 15-minute career test drive. When you and I buy a car, we don't just buy it blindly. We take it for a test drive. We allow students to do that for careers. So in this picture, my students are doing a medical laboratory technician test drive, and they're analyzing fake urine for diseases like UTIs or diabetes. And it's funny, some of my students are super gung-ho about this, and they get incredibly excited. And some of them think this is disgusting. But that's okay, because if they think it's disgusting now, they shouldn't go to school for it. We take that excitement, or sometimes that disgust, and we then talk about what's the path to get to this career. This is crucial. Students can have a goal, but if they don't have the steps to get there, that means nothing. The pathway mapping process does this for students so they know when they graduate what to do. Finally, during the most vulnerable months of college success, we pair our students with a near-peer advisor. The near-peer advisor is a current college student who has experience with community college systems, and they provide support through text, which is quite honestly where students want to receive support. Again, we focus on these months because these are the most vulnerable months, and we see a lot of dropout at these stages. So by providing the career clarity, the timely support, we fuel students' college and career success. And it's a self-fulfilling cycle because our mentors are hopefully former students that come back and mentor the younger ones. Excited to share our results. We worked with over 200 students to date. And this is a picture we found on Instagram just last week. He worked with us in January. Oh, my screen disappeared. He worked with us in January, and he came in not knowing what he wanted to do, like many of our students. And so we put him through the Farm Tech Career Test Drive, and he was floored and super excited. As you can see, he went out and purchased a Farm Tech exam prep book, even though he knows he doesn't have to take this exam for another 2 years. And his counselor is telling us that he's super excited about going to community college, and we'll be working with him on enrollment steps this summer. It's not just him. 95% of our students said that they would recommend this experience to a friend. And this past summer, our students enrolled into community college at twice the rate of a local group. We know our work is far from done, and as we continue to grow, we'll be tracking success metrics such as community college graduation and then eventual placement into jobs. We're doing this through a sustainable nonprofit model. Our career test drives are partly funded by employers who provide in-kind donations. All the career test drives that we've done so far have been supported by these types of donations. We also rely heavily on volunteers who help facilitate these experiences, and we recruit college interns who are subsidized by their college and by the city of Houston. In terms of funding, as a nonprofit, we do expect a portion of our funds to come from philanthropy. We have a soft commitment for the 2018-2019 school year from a local foundation in Houston, but are also exploring earned revenue opportunities, and we have 3 identified early adopters. The first are community colleges. Community colleges benefit by increasing their enrollment and receiving a dedicated group of students who are focused on their goals. We have a paid contract commitment starting in June for a small pilot with the largest community college system in Houston. We're also speaking with other nonprofit organizations. They don't necessarily have the funds to give us directly, but they're excited about exploring joint grant opportunities because we're one of the only organizations that bridge that gap between college prep and workforce development. And finally, since a lot of our work happens at high schools, our counselors and our principals have told us to tap into their field trip funding and CTE, their career and technical education funding, in the future. But to do all of that, we desperately need your help. We've been bootstrapping, and that's worked really well for us for now, but in order to really accelerate our growth, we're excited to kick off stage 2 at BridgeYear. Right now, we're limited because we can only go to high schools that have empty classrooms or empty cafeteria spaces for us to set up. And we need to spend that time to set up and clean up our career test drives. Stage 2 would take our career test drives and put them on mobile buses. And we'll adopt a bookmobile or food truck style model so that we no longer have to rely on schools for that space. This will allow us to accelerate our growth, reach more students and more schools over the next 2 years. The prize money from Thorne will allow us to purchase and outfit our very first vehicle and use it as a proof of concept to gain future revenue. We know what a tremendous impact we can make in this space just by connecting students to high-growth careers and giving them the supports to get the degrees to get those careers. Our students as community college graduates would earn an average increase of $400,000 over their lifetime, and they're 1.5 times less likely to be in poverty or unemployed. BridgeYear is all about connecting students to opportunities that they didn't know about. We think that when we help students answer that question of what they want to be when they grow up, but we also provide the experience and supports to turn those dreams into reality, and we're excited to involve you in that process. Thank you.